support both research, but also to support individuals in the development of their research careers and their journeys. And that's whether you're a clinical academic or want to go into research delivery, there are lots of opportunities available. So over the years, what we know is that there's been fantastic opportunities for people who are kind of a bit later on in their career, who want to get into, research, and that, it's at multiple levels. But what the gap was for people who are either kind of finishing off their graduate training or early, first few years of post-graduation. And this is where Insights comes in, because it's very much aimed at those people who are, just really qualified in their careers, but also realizing even at that early stage that research might be something for them and they want to develop that further. So last year, NIHR awarded 12 regional insight programs, and I said we're the one for the North East and North Cumbria. So no matter where you live within, within England, there will be an insight regional program that you can, link into, and that's usually linked into somewhere that either you're working or you're living. So there's, it covers the whole of the country. And this is part of a £30 million investment that they have for training, career development for health and social care professionals. So it's really trying to attract more people into research careers. As I said, whether that could be academic research, clinical academic careers, or research delivery journeys, and that's what this is all about. So it's really trying to inspire and support those individuals. I'm sorry, we've got problems with sound. Sorry, I think we're having some fun and games with sound. I'll try and give a swap. Right, is that any better? Anybody want to tell me if that's working any better? It's better. Yeah, got some nods. Okay, brilliant. I know we've also got a bit of a flickery screen, and we are trying to address that. I think we've got some black blocks I certainly have on my screen, and we'll see if we can get rid of those as well. So I do apologize for the fun and games of technical difficulties that we do get sometimes. Okay. So just to recap, Insights is part of the NIHR infrastructure, and they have invested a lot of money to support individuals, either at undergraduate or early postgraduate level, to support them in their research career. And I said this is not just for clinical academics, but it's also for people who are looking at research delivery. And this is designed for all healthcare professionals other than doctors or dentists. And we'll go on to a little bit more about that on the next few slides. So next slide, please. Okay, I think we're having more fun and games. I'm really sorry. Poor Sean, a lovely technical lady in the background. Her screen has frozen. So we're going to just have a play around to try and get that sorted. I think we're nearly there. Sorry. Yep. Great. I think hopefully we're there. Should we try next slide if possible? Yay, we did it. Fantastic. Okay, then. So this is our insights for the North East and North Cumbria. As you say, we're a massive geographical area, so we'll cover right down to Middlesbrough and Stockton-on-Tees and kind of that Hartlepool area, up to the top, up to the Berwick border and the Scottish border, and then across to North Cumbria that you'll see. So we've got a large geographical area that we're covering as part of the Insights programme. This is a combination really of 5 universities. So we're part of Northumbria University, Newcastle University, Teesside, University of Sunderland and University of Cumbria have come together as the NIHR had asked for a higher institution education, higher education institute to lead the Insights programme. But of course, we're linked into all our partners across the region, both NHS and non-NHS organisations that employs or supports people working in health and social care jobs. So we are a very large geographical region as part of this Insight programme. Next slide, please. Okay, so part of our ambition really was to really inspire students, as I said, in early health, social care, residents to engage in research, and really to help individuals at that really early part of their career to look at training opportunities and development in terms of research careers. And what we've got as part of Insights is really hopefully what you'll class as an engaging activity kind of program we have available, as well as this master's scholarship. So, the master's scholarships that we're talking about today is just a small part of, a part of Insights. It's not the whole thing that we've got. Across the region, we have multiple students across about 50 different programs. So there's over 1,600 students, undergraduate students we've got across within the North East who are potentially eligible for Insights. And as part of this, we've got our master's scholarships across the 4 universities now, as Cumbria has just been able to come on board this year. And we have 90 master scholarships over the 3 years of our Insights Award. And again, we are really trying to reach out. So it's really trying to make sure that we're covering all professions across the region, both community, mental health, acute, and within social care. Thanks, Sean. Next slide. And so who's eligible to apply for one of our awards? Well, basically, it's anybody who's attached to one of these regulatory bodies. So you'll see there's a whole range here. And I know that we've got down there the General Dental Council and the General Medical Council. This is for those individuals who might be aligned to those, but aren't doctors or dentists themselves. So we know that there are some dental technicians and dental nurses who might be aligned to the General Dental Council who might be part of that. So as long as you are aligned or looking to align to one of these regulatory bodies, and you're able to apply for one of our opportunities for a funded place. So I said this is looking for students registered with health, social care and public health professions. It's for undergraduates who maybe want to apply for this master's opportunity in their last year, or for people who are early post registration. And it's now actually changed to up to 5 years within, of post registration. If you've been qualified for longer than that and you've been registered for slightly longer than 5 years, if you've had a break for whatever reason, that might be for health or for work or whatever reason, then again you can still be eligible as long as you can understand what that break might be. And what you need to be is located within the North East North Cumbria area. And I said that's either being employed or a student in the region to be eligible. So these are the eligible regulatory bodies, and that's really important. If you're not registered, then unfortunately, we're not able to support you funding through the Insights programme. Next slide, please. So what we've got fully funded master's fees available to individuals to be able to study at both full and part-time, and those courses will be, as said, discussed by the programme leads in a little bit. But what we're also able to offer as part of this is some stipend and kind of funding. So I said your fees are fully funded whether it's full-time or part-time, and there's also a stipend that's available to individuals. So if you're going to be studying full-time, you're able to obtain a full-time stipend to cover living expenses, and if you're studying part-time, again we are able to provide a part-time stipend to either cover cost of living expenses. For example, if you're working part-time, studying part-time, then we can potentially cover costs for things like childcare or for support or for living costs. But if you are being fully supported by an employer and they're paying for you full time, then what we can also use that stipend to do is go directly to the employer to provide a contribution towards your salary costs. The stipend themselves, they are set. We haven't got any alterations in that. So, it unfortunately won't particularly matter what salary you're on. It's a set amount for the stipends. And that would have said, that's a set amount that we are have no sway over. We aren't able to change or to alter. And again, if you've got any issues about the stipend or any questions, we can talk about those on a case-by-case basis, because it could be very different from one individual to the next. Next slide, please. So we're delighted this year to be able to offer, I said, courses across 4 different universities. So we've got the healthcare professional practice at Northumbria on offer. At Newcastle, we've got a couple of programs on offer in terms of the Master in Clinical Research and the Masters in Public Health. Teesside, we've got a Clinical Research Masters, and again, got the same at Cumbria, Masters of Research. All the courses, have got, obviously different opportunities and different modules as part of that. But what we're able to offer is funding for any of the courses that we've got on this current slide, and that's what we'll be talking about today. And that's what we have available. Fab. Next slide, please. So what I'm going to do is hopefully Phil's online, and I'll hand over to Phil to talk about the Masters in Research at Northumbria.
Yes, thanks, Anna. So I'm Phil Hodgson. I'm an assistant professor in health research here at Northumbria, and I'm the program lead for our healthcare professional practice, MRes. So we're a 2-year part-time course, and for that we're also a blended learning course. So we have alternate weeks with face-to-face teaching on campus, and then online learning around that as well. We're available to everyone with a 2.2 degree or equivalent and higher, and registration as a health professional. So we focus in on research-based teaching. It's very much centered around your area of expertise, your research interest, and we take a scaffolding approach to try and build on that to help you develop your researcher identity in relation to it. So a lot of simulation-based teaching, that in terms of simulated data analysis and data collection and things like mock ethics panels to try and make it as interactive and engaging as possible. In year 1, we have 4 methods in total. So we have teaching on research methodology, research methods, research impact and influences alongside contextual factors in relation to research. And at the end of that year, you should be able to produce a proposal for your own empirical study, which is then carried out as the year-long project as the dissertation in year 2. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah, and so just a little bit of an overview from a practical perspective for what that looks like for people to make an informed decision. So as I mentioned, we have bi-weekly face-to-face sessions. These are normally on a Thursday afternoon from 1 to 6. They're also recorded in case, when you went with adult learners, in case things happen that you can't attend, so there's the ability to catch up. And alongside that, we have, on the alternate weeks, we have directed study, which is made up of a range of materials, whether it be kind of online structured lectures, pre-recorded content, directed activities. That's approximately 4 hours per fortnight, and it's to be accessed flexibly, so people can do that whenever possible through that time period. And then, as I mentioned, that feeds into your project in year 2, where you carry out an empirical piece of research. And throughout that year, you get supervision support and a number of supported workshops to help facilitate your development alongside that, hopefully leading to the successful completion of your project. So that's what we look like.
Thanks, Phil. That's brilliant. Okay, then let me hand over next, I think, to Alison, who's going to talk about the opportunities that will be at Newcastle University.
I'm happy to talk, but Marika's actually here if she wants to.
That's fine. Not a problem at all. If you could move the slide forward, please.
Yeah, Marika, we're having fun and games. We're trying to do that now.
I know.
Marika, just you want to introduce yourself, the pair of you? That'd be really great.
Absolutely. I am the curriculum director for the clinical research programs. So I help out with selection of students for the program and support with tutoring as well. While we're waiting for those to come up, I can tell you that we have got a 3-year part-time program, which is largely delivered online. We have 3 modules in the first 2 years, talking about statistics, about ethics, about processes behind clinical research. Oh, see that something's happening here? Yes. So it's all right, and data management. And then in the first year, you can choose for the last module for either writing in the research setting and clinical research, or delivering in practice, which is a more practical approach to research delivery, where you'd be expected to, under supervision of someone local in your research teams, get the first hang of how to do research, how to deliver research, and get a better idea about the structure of research within your own trust. And that is really important because it will build your network, which will help you to go forward and move forward with your plans. Then in the diploma year, there's somewhat more research statistics, some qualitative research options or clinical research with older people, a bit more on clinical trials, and there's options to be had, but you need to do 3 of the modules. And in the last year, as also in the other programs, there is a clinical research dissertation. And what you'll find is that the modules that you take in the years prior will prepare you to choose a topic, how to put in your ethics application, how to write the proposal, and also how to write up the results of your work. And that will hopefully then be finalized with a successful dissertation. Next slide. So students are expected to undertake a guided flexible independent study, which is about 8 to 12 hours a day. Our program is delivered online, apart from the research delivery module, which is optional in the first year. What we do is we use Canvas as our mode of teaching, which will hold all the information for the modules, but also recordings can be found if you can't make it to a session because you happen to have to work that day. That is not a problem. We also offer tutoring support, so every student is assigned a person that they can contact for problems that go outside the content of the course. But if you have problems because you have to all of a sudden increase your workload clinically, which makes it more difficult to engage with the program, you can get in touch and get advice on how to deal with that. And then the dissertation part, we always recommend students to have a workplace supervisor as much as possible, but should there be a problem, we can always help and find someone who's working in your area of expertise to see if they can provide some support for you for that if you don't have anyone local available. Next slide. That will go, I think, to the next person. Master in Public Health is for the next speaker, I think.
Yes.
Thanks, Marika. Alison, are you able to pick up this one?
This is
no, that's Shalina's. Is she here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi, Shalina. Thanks very much. Thank you.
So, no problem. Just checking you could hear me. Hi, everyone. I'm Shalina Vizram. I'm a senior lecturer in public health at Newcastle University, and I'm the programme lead for the Masters in Public Health. Most of our students study the MPH full-time, although we do have part-time options that can be taken over 2 or 3 years. Our eligibility criteria is usually a 2-1 degree in a health or social science related subject, but we do have a lot of flexibility there. So if you have relevant work experience, voluntary experience, or even if you just write a really strong personal statement that makes it clear why you're passionate about public health, we'll generally be flexible with that 2-1 entry criterion. So we're really proud of the current MPH. I think it's a great program. We get really good student feedback, but it had been a number of years since the curriculum had been reviewed. So we've just been through a big process of refreshing the content, introducing some new modules. And so from next academic year, it will be a kind of whole new improved Masters in Public Health. I think that better reflects the expertise within the Population Health Science Institute, where the module leads for the programme are located. So, for example, we've added a compulsory module on social and commercial determinants of health because we have a lot of colleagues here with kind of international expertise around health inequalities and the social determinants that we think students would really benefit from hearing a bit more about that. I won't read through all of the modules there, but we have a number of compulsory and optional modules. And again, I think that the fact that we have optional modules is something that students really appreciate in terms of being able to tailor the programme to their interests, which then they build on through the dissertation project. Next slide, please. Yeah, so just a little bit more about the kind of commitment involved. This is an in-person programme. We use a combination of interactive seminars, lectures and practicals for the various modules. So you are expected to be on campus to study. Most of the sessions are recorded and the materials made available to anybody kind of remotely on campus, but not all of the sessions, particularly practicals, are generally not recorded. So if you don't feel you can commit to attending weekly in person, then this is maybe not the programme for you. Teaching takes place on a Tuesday, Wednesday morning and Thursday. and the exact number of hours per week depends on which options you take, but generally between 12 and 15 contact hours per week, as well as doing guided independent study and assignment prep on top of that. Obviously, if you're a part-time student, it's spread a little bit more over the 2 or 3 years of your programme. If you do the 3-year option, you generally do the taught modules in year 1 and 2 and the dissertation in the 3rd year, whereas the 2-year option, you do the dissertation alongside the taught modules. We, as part of the programme review and the new programme being introduced for next year, we've been encouraged to kind of diversify the assessments we use, and we're excited about some of the innovative approaches we're using. So it's not just traditional essays and written reports, we're moving more towards problem-solving exercises, bringing in some exams just because of the kind of vulnerability to AI of some of the other assessment modes, and also oral and poster presentations, including a podcast. So we're excited about that. And dissertation project ideas can be selected from a list that's produced in advance by staff who are involved in the course, generated by students, or developed in collaboration between students and supervisors. So it's really very flexible. And if you'd like to know more, the QR code takes you to the website on our online prospectus, or you can email us at pghealth@newcastle.ac.uk. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thanks, Shirley. That's brilliant. Okay, then let's hand over to Teesside, and I think it's John.
Hi everyone, my name is John Franklin and I'm a Senior Lecturer in Research Methods at Teesside University. And we again offer an MRes that can be done either full-time over 12 months, or we offer it part-time and it can be done over 2 academic years part-time, where it runs September to May, and then you would have the summer off and then you'd come back and do year 2 September to May again. The course can be done either as attendance learning, where you attend all the sessions on site. It can be done completely distance learning, where you access a different system and all your sessions are kind of pre-recorded with some drop-in sessions as opposed to attendance. Or we can offer it as well as a flexible learning option, where you choose to either come on site and attend some sessions, or you might stream some sessions live, or you may access some sessions via recording. So most students that are in in work tend to access the course as a flexible learner part-time. That tends to be the most common way in which students study it, but we do offer all 3 options and you can choose depending on what you want to do. The course is made up of 5 kind of theory modules and then your dissertation module. So if you're doing the course part-time over 2 years, you would do the first 4 modules there in year 1, and then you do the last module, Methods of Analysis of Qualitative Research, and the dissertation in year 2. And the way the course works is in semester 1, year 1, we do that first module, Introduction to Clinical Research, which is kind of a transition to mastery. So we talk about critical writing skills and make sure you're referencing and those core academic skills are solid. Plus we do some kind of more advanced mastery level skills as well. Alongside that, we do your research proposal module. So you'll start developing your proposal straight away. And that's semester 1, year 1 if you're part-time. And then in year 1, semester 2, we have the advanced module where we do talk about methods of evidence synthesis. We'll talk about how to run meta-analysis. We'll talk about the MRC framework, about developing complex interventions. Alongside that, you'll do the data management module, which is a statistical analysis module. So you'll learn how to do regressions and t-tests and things like that. And then that will finish year 1 if you're part-time. And then in year 2, when you come back, we've got that qualitative module, which talks about philosophies of research and understanding qualitative data analysis. And alongside that, you'll do that dissertation module, which is your independent student-led project. And that'll be the entire year 2 if you're part-time, or if you're full-time, it'll be a semester 3. And that's kind of what makes up our course. And then we're assessed a number of different assessments. We do essays, there's some workbooks, we do research proposals, presentations, and also we ask you to produce not only a dissertation, but we'll also ask you to produce a research paper alongside that. And our hope for a lot of our students is that not only will they produce the MRes and complete the MRes, but their dissertation that they write up and produce at the end of the course, our hope is that for some of those students, they'll be able to take that piece of work to conference, or they'll be able to publish the actual research paper as well. So our hope is that not only will you finish the course with an MRes qualification, but also have a research paper as well. And then again, we've got a QR code if you want to scan it, and that'll take you to the information on our website.
Brilliant. Thanks, John. Oops.
Yeah, and just some points to consider. Quite a busy slide when I see it like this, so apologies. But I guess the core thing to remember is that if you're doing the course part-time, we'll expect to probably be on site for about a day a week, but that may be split over 2 days. So this year it was split over 2 days. But as well as the theory sessions that you'll get, you will need time to do independent study, reading, putting your assignments together. I've suggested here kind of 2 days a week. I think that's kind of realistic, really, if you think about doing all your reading and putting your work together over the duration of the course. So you may be looking at 2 to 3 days a week of study time, including your theory time, that you need to consider allocating to the course. For our course in year 1, we have quite a bit of theory and there's quite a bit of contact time in year 1, but that's very different in year 2, where you're kind of working on your project alongside a dissertation supervisor, so you'll be working together. But even though there's very little theory contact time, our expectation is you're still doing the equivalent amount of work on the project. You're still putting all that reading in, you're still doing your data collection, you're still producing the piece of work. So although in year 2, there's a lot less structured contact time, there's still a lot of work to be done. And that's kind of it, really. I think I'll leave it there. I think I've covered most of those points.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, John, for that. And then finally, can I hand over to Laura, please, for Cumbria?
Hi, I'm Laura Snell, and I'm a Research and Development Fellow at the University of Cumbria. So our MRes programme is 2 years part-time, and the whole of the course is distance learning, so it's all delivered remotely online. The course starts in January each year, and it's been designed so that it blends independent research with learning activities, allowing students to shape their studies around other priorities. The minimum entry requirement is a 2-1, and as with the others, I've put the QR code there so that you can have a little bit of another look, further look at the information. The programme involves 3 modules delivered over the 2 years. So in year 1, there's 2 modules: the research methods for professional practice and the project design, development and planning module. And then in year 2, there's the module which is the research project. So the first 2 years, you'll learn the skills that you'll be able to build up and then deliver that research project in the 3rd year. We also use a range of assessments. So we've got portfolios, we've got proposals, we've got the project itself, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the course has been designed for professionals in practice, and it's very flexible to fit around work commitments. The lectures are delivered roughly once a month in real time, but they're also recorded so that if you can't access that, then you can catch up later on. There's often weekly thread work that you can engage with, and there's personal tutor support provided throughout the course. And the assessments, so that the first module, the MRes 7103, that is the research methods for professional practice. That one's in the 1st year, and the assessment for that is a 6,000-word assignment. The second module that takes place in the 1st year is the project design, development and planning, which is assessed through a project presentation and another written assessment. And then the 3rd module, the MRes 7105, is our main research project, which is a duration of the 2nd year of the course. That's a larger assignment of 10,000 words with 4 formative pieces that include presentations, organising an event to support research culture, developing a written abstract for a potential conference paper, and then a group reflection on working with supervisors. In addition to the MRes programme, the university hosts a PGR conference every year in July, and this is an in-person event. So, of course, all the MRes students are invited to join that and have the opportunity to actually meet other students face-to-face. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for that, Laura. Great. Okay, then. I know there are some questions coming into the chat, but we will get to those at the end, if that's all right, because hopefully as we go through, it might answer some of those questions. So applying for funded studentship, if you're currently working, then please can you make sure you've spoken to your supervisor or line manager before applying. That's really, really important because you would obviously need to take study leave or time or reduce, hours, things. And what we would expect if you're working is to have a statement of support from your employer or from your line manager as part of your application process, and we would not be able to accept your application without that. So that's really important. So if you're working to do that. If you're currently a student looking to, qualify later in the year and then, wanting to work, that needs to be carefully thought about and have these discussions really early on. So if you're looking at finishing your, undergraduate, degree and then going on to qualification, then you need to have those conversations potentially, with us or with potentially who might employ you before you kind of apply to make sure you can get that secured time. Because what we don't want to do is, give you, apply for this opportunity and then find you're not able to take that opportunity up because you're not being released from, from your work. For those individuals who've already secured a place in one of the master's research courses starting September, you're still eligible to apply for funding retrospectively. So, if you have been offered a place for September, for example, but actually you fit the criteria, you're one of the eligible professional registrations, and you're within your 5 years, you're more than welcome to apply for funding. That's not a problem at all. And what we're asking this year is that you're required to take the application process with the relevant institution at the same time. So we'll go through that. When you apply, we will ask you for first, second and third choice of where you'd like to study. But what we're asking you this time around is not only will you apply for the Insights funding for that master's program, but we're also asking you to apply through the university, because it is a separate process, and so it's a 2-stage process. So you need to do that at the same time, again, to reduce the time lag and to ensure you've got those places organised. Next slide, please. So applying for funding for first choice, please. So applications open as of today. So that's fantastic that it is an online application that you'll see. And what we'll do is we'll close that application by the 22nd of June, 5 p.m. Please. And again, we'll give you the website and the link to do that in the next couple of slides. And within your application, we include your profession or what your registration will be, any employment details. But for this course, you do not have to be in current employment. I know there are a couple of messages in the chat, but I said for this, it's not about being employed to be able to be eligible. It's about actually being registered with one of those professions. That's what the eligibility criteria is around. But we will ask about that within the application process. And as I said, please state your first, second and third preference for the master's programs. We will endeavour to try and link as much as possible to people's preferences, but you can imagine across the region, we've got a large geographic area, a lot of students applying, so sometimes it's not always possible to give people first choices depending on what places are available. So if you can give us different options, as long as you're able to take it, we'll be able to accept those offers. That's really important. And I said before, we need a detailed letter of support from your employer if you are currently employed. If you're currently employed and we don't have that letter of support, then we would not be able to accept your application. Next slide, please. Great. So we've got a website as part of the Newcastle Health Research Partnership. That's there. You can see the link on the bottom and the QR code, again, which takes you to all the details that we've got available, and also to the application form for this master's studentship opportunity. And again, just to remind you, key dates. So applications have opened today. We will be closing applications on the 22nd of June. We're hoping to be able to notify individuals of outcomes by the 25th of July. So it just gives a bit of time to, plan ahead and think about, starting potentially a program in September. And what we're asking for then is that if individuals who are offered a place could confirm their offer by the 8th of August. If you're unable to confirm by that time, then again, like we did last year, there will probably be a waiting list as well. So just enable to make sure we can fill as many places as possible that we have available to us. So we'll ask people to confirm by the 8th of August. But that's roughly the timeline that we've got at the minute. I said with the firm deadlines, the 22nd of June being the closing, and firm being able to accept places by the 8th of August, please. And yeah, just to say that there's a last bit about, we do have a website and a mailing list, so please link in both. We've also got a website with Routes to Research, again, with lots of opportunities in terms of other events, webinars, and activities through the Insight program. So please, keep following us and keep linked in and keep looking at the website for further opportunities. Okay, then I think that's it, and we'll go to questions. So, Joe, are you able to go through the questions and go through them for me and read out so I can see where we're up to?
Absolutely. If you have any further questions, please do put them in the chat. I think we may have answered them. There's a couple of questions about if you're self-employed, you're working in the region, are you eligible, or do you need a contract of employment? So the conversation about employment is just about whether you have capacity and space to actually study part-time alongside. So if you're self-employed, the requirement to complete the course would be as has just been described. So as long as you can reduce your self-employment hours, just to ensure that you can study and fulfill that. That's the key thing there. And Gemma has been working in clinical practice for over 5 years. Are there other ways to get funding? So this stream of funding is for people that have been registered, completed their registration within 5 years or below. There may be other streams of funding through NIHR. So we can send a link to that in a follow-up email from after this webinar, just so that you can have a look at other possible streams of funding you might be eligible for.
Jo, I'll just jump in there. So thanks, Gemma, for your question. And it is that bit of, if you're qualified over 5 years, there are opportunities that's across the region. And again, sometimes it might be through CPD funding or other support for programs you might want to go on to. But yes, NIHR do have opportunities and fellowship opportunities for people who are over 5 years. So please have a look. And I guess Joseph will put those in the chat or the evening for you.
Thank you. And Julia's asking, yes, it is confusing. So yes, you need to apply for the funding, and you need to apply to the university as two separate pieces of activity. If you apply for the links that we're providing of the funding, and then we're saying please apply directly to the respective university for your first choice of program. So you will need to go through that because they need to sort of check your eligibility for the course. But we will hold a place for you on the course. So it's as long as you're eligible. So I hope that makes sense. So we need you to if you apply for the funding first and then apply to the university straight afterwards, but mention that you have applied for the NIHR INSIGHT funding, because in a lot of the application forms there'll be a drop-down list to say how you're going to fund this. If there isn't, put it in any free text options in there as well. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions as you're trying to fill out the forms, we'll have the email address there, so please ask us if you have any issues while you're completing it. Claudie's asking about working for a large charity in public health and the funding not to be applied for. So registration with one of the organisations we had earlier on is the criteria for this funding. Nasima is asking if the programs that require a 2-1, what about people that require a 2-2? That have received a 2-2 and have a merit 2-1 for a postgrad. I'll throw that over to you, Annette, with that. That will really be at the discretion of the respective universities.
Yeah, I just put that back out to the universities to let us know. John, Alison, Marika, John, have a reply to that one?
Yes. Yes, it is working. With us, it would, in Newcastle, each case is on its own merits, so quite likely you would be eligible.
Yeah, for Teesside, I think that would probably, we would take into account other studies as well, but I think we're a 2-2 as well. Let me just double check about. Directed myself now, but I'm pretty sure we're a 2-2 for ours. So
yes, we are as well.
Yeah, we are. Teesside's a 2-2 undergrad.
Yes, we are 2 at Northumbria. 2-2 are equivalent.
So at University of Cumbria, we have put 2-1. The best thing to do would be to contact the programme lead I've put his name on the slide, Ross Armstrong. He wasn't able to be here today, but he would be able to follow that up. I think it's very much kind of depending on individual circumstances and subject and everything. So there is a bit of flexibility, I think.
Brilliant, thanks for that. Okay, then I think there's somebody else that's asked about whether you have to apply for 3 or you could apply for 1. And you can, if you only want to apply for 1, that's fine. You're not, you know, we're not saying you have to put 3 down. If 1's the only one you want to go for, then that's more than okay to put 1 course down. As I said, you know, we would always try and pick with preference. It was just to give us a choice and option if we weren't able to cover those courses. But yeah, you're fine to pick that. And I see there's another comment come back about other avenues for funding for charity staff. In terms of NIHR, we're really restricted in terms of those professional regulatory bodies. You know, we aren't able to go outside of those or kind of offer funding outside of that. And I'm really not aware of any kind of other funding available unless you're registered with one of those regulatory bodies. But feel free to get in touch. And again, the Newcastle Health Research Partners, they're really great at being able to kind of help support individuals, no matter where you are and who you are on that journey. So again, or if you don't know their contact details, then please get in touch with us directly and then we can put you in touch. But they might be able to have some ideas for you. But I'm not aware of anything, certainly through NIHR, certainly from this scheme, about how you get funding for charity staff if you're not part of one of those regulatory bodies of practice.
Thank you, Annette. And we've got a couple of questions just about the boundaries of the 5-year registration. So we will take the date starting from your registration date, and if you are sort of borderline or you know at the point of application or starting the course, sort of nudging up against that 5 years, I'd suggest you do apply, and then we will consider that you know in the mix of applications and other criteria as well. So because people starting the course, if it's a 2-year, if you're doing 2 years, you know that's you're going to be potentially 7 years into your registration, which isn't a problem. Everyone's going to progress through that. So if you're nudging up against that 5 years, I would encourage you to apply. Yes, we will be sending the slides out, definitely with links to everything we've mentioned as well, and a recording of this webinar. Dorothy is asking, do you specifically have to be specified? Sorry, Dorothy, could you... Oh, well. Can somebody who's gained admission to start the Masters in Public Health in September at Teesside apply for the NIHR? Yes, you can retrospectively apply for that. Just mention in the application that you've already secured a place or applied. Yeah, no problem.
Can I just jump in there? Sorry, I'll let you check, but that's it. It is the courses that we specified on here. So if that course at Teesside is not specified as part of this offer, then we aren't able to offer that funding. So it's purely the programs because these have been approved by NIHR and through the Insights team. So I know obviously at Teesside we've got the Masters in Research, but I don't think the Public Health is part of that Teesside offer. So it has been one of those courses that we have spoken about today that, yeah, if you've got a place for that already September time, then you can retrospectively apply for funding.
And Julia is asking, whilst the programme leads are here, would it be possible, is there anything in particular that would help an application stand out for the Masters of Public Health at Newcastle North Cumbria? Well done, Julia, for jumping on that opportunity. Would anyone like to respond to that? What would make a standout application? Any of the course leads want to respond to that?
Hi, Joe. I'm just checking. Is it just for the Masters in Public Health? Because that wouldn't be us If you see what I mean, that would just be Newcastle.
Yeah. Should we open it up to just what would make a standout application
Lena's there.
to everybody?
I'm happy to.
Yeah.
Sorry, Julia, do you want to go?
Hi, yeah, sorry. For me personally, because I'm a student currently graduating in July 25, I think it would just be the public Masters of Health or the Masters of Public Health. But obviously, yeah, if it's a general question, then it's cool. Thanks.
Yeah, well, for the NPH at Newcastle, I can obviously answer and just say that obviously demonstrating that you meet the eligibility criteria, and then in the personal statement, just showing that you have a passion for public health. It can be from voluntary experience, from your studies, from work experience, or just generally, you know, obviously people write about experiences during COVID and how that triggered something in them to you know, an interest in public health. So yeah, just a sense of that passion and why you want to study with us, basically.
Thanks.
Ricky, you got your hand up?
Yeah, just as you said, maybe wider than just public health. I would say a clear motivation as why you would like to do the program. I think that really helps if you can set that out concisely, you know, but clearly and complete. That is good. Being able to stick to word counts, because I know a lot of the applications, and no doubt this one, are subject to word limits. Don't go over, because if you do, the word count will be cut at some point, and we can only read part of your motivation. So make sure you stay in that word count. Also, for, you know, within the course, that's important that you're able to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, brilliant. Okay then, and I think there's a question there about are there a preset number of places on each of the courses? And what I would say at the minute is we have an idea about numbers of places, but I don't want to confirm those just yet because we're trying to negotiate with NIHR, as we didn't fill all our places last year, whether we have more places on offer this year. So they are spread across the courses that we've got available to us as part of this Insight award. But at the current time, I can't confirm how many places are available on each of the programs.
Sorry, one final question from me, just while you're all here. I feel like it's so much easier. I currently don't have a PIN because I haven't graduated yet with the relevant body. What would you recommend in terms of the application? Putting down.
It's whatever that PIN would be that you're working towards, Julia. So it's what professional body that you're going to be regulated with, because obviously within the NIHR Insights kind of like blurb, it will go working towards or be, you know, a member of. But we need to know where you would be going, what that route would be, and which of those regulatory bodies you would be assigned to, please, as part of that.
Okay, that's great.
And then as soon as you have registered, we would need you to send us the PIN and details.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, then any final questions? Anybody else want to jump in? Anything else at all? Fantastic then. I said the application's open. We look forward to seeing lots of applications come flooding through. You've got a few months. Any questions at all, anything you're not sure about them, please get in touch. That's what we're here for. We're really excited about this offer. It's fantastic. It was great to see the support for so many people at the end of last year starting and, you know, getting on those programs and supporting, you know, that whole research activity in the region is brilliant. So yeah, anything you're not sure about, then please just get in touch. We will be sending the slides round. Somebody has those, the recording to that to go and have a look at. Again, some of the program leads have also done little presentations about the different courses they've got that we'll upload again, just to hear about those again if you need to. But please, yeah, please just get in touch. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you all. So thank you much for your time, and you can have the last 5 minutes of your afternoon back. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.